considerable amount. I think we'll have to limit the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, all right, 5. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'll take that as you have not set a time limit at this moment. Thank you very much.
Don't pull it.
My name is Barb Perriam, 2584 Rainbow Drive. First of all, I'd like to make something clear from my point of view. It has been repeatedly pointed out this evening by several of you that this has been a process that has included committees that have been from both sides of the aisle, so to speak. And I noticed that the Casper Star Tribune did an editorial praising the fact that we had this open dialogue between all of these different groups. And I would like to categorically state that that, in my opinion, is not true. That is not what happened.
Right.
We did have a group of people that I met with through December, I believe, and then I was no longer in office. Eventually, the committee you talk about was chosen, had 6 people from the community. 3 of them were anti-car collectors, period. And the other 3 were car collectors. In addition, we had the commissioners, we had this commission board, and based upon my attendance at all of those meetings, it by no means was a give and take proposition,
Right.
but rather a matter of the folks that are most directly affected by this, the car collectors themselves, trying to get some points in and trying to be heard. So I would just like to say that, in my opinion, this process certainly hasn't been as smooth as we are indicating. Having said that, I am very glad, Harold, that you brought up the application process. I think it was you who brought it up, or was it Mr. Tillman? The application process is what I consider to be a taking by the Board of County Commissioners.
That's right.
I'm not aware of any other group in this county that is being asked to passively turn themselves in and pay or not pay the $300 in order to get a permit for something they may not even be aware that they need. And what you are saying in this, as I understand it, that from the time of passage, and this is now non-specific. It used to be specific that you had X number of days and we would waive the $300, but you've taken that out. So I'm not quite sure where that's going to sneak back in, but you've taken that out so far. You are asking a group of citizens throughout this county to do something that you ask of no one else. I would be a car collector out there, have no indications that I want to increase my cars or trucks or do anything else, and yet you're telling me that I must now apply for something that I don't believe I even need. And to me, that is a taking by the commissioner. And I'll go straight up to the Board of Commissioners, because in this proposal, we have several takings of power by our Board of Commissioners. I think you are setting a hugely dangerous precedent when you start messing around with a specific group of people, and you have made this very specific. I would draw your attention to the very first thing, item number 2C, collector items, any lawful accumulation of inanimate objects, excluding all motorized vehicles. Why we have to exclude them, again, I have no idea, but you have chosen right then and there to exclude this particular group.
Right.
But even more importantly, it goes on and it says having emotional, intellectual, artistic, academic, historical, or other appeal to the individuals. Farther down your process, you talk about collector car storage people, and you say that they can only have historical advantage or appeal. What happened to their artistic appeal? What happened to their intellectual appeal? What happened to their economic appeal? Making it very, very unfair on this one particular group. A power grab by the commissioners is also very, very evident when we get into the entire application process. First of all, from the handbook that comes out for county commissioners, let me read a paragraph entitled Home Rule. Home Rule is the process of giving local governments the widest possible latitude in handling their own local affairs. To this end, the Wyoming Constitution, Article 13, Section 1, as amended, empowers cities and towns to provide for their own government and local affairs by ordinance. This power does not apply to counties. The commissioners do not have the extensive lawmaking powers as the state legislature or the home rule of municipalities. They are generally limited to enacting those types of ordinances and regulations specifically permitted by state law. And we are going way over and above state law when we're discussing this entire text amendment. Basically, their duties are to conduct the business of the state at a county level. We talk about power grab by the commissioners when we talk about the entire application process. And it talks about the commissioners will determine, once you've applied, it is the Board of County Commissioners who will sit and determine how many cars you can have on your property. Now, in this text amendment that you have, there is no setting of any sort of criteria for this. So apparently, it just depends on what you feel like on any given day. But it's also important to realize that now this is done on an individual basis. It is not a matter of treating everyone equally necessarily. It's a matter of saying, I think that you need to have so-and-so many cars, you need to have so-and-so many cars. This, I believe, is a taking of a freedom that should not belong to the county commissioners.
That's right.
And I think that that's blatantly unfair. I'd like to also make a comment about the fact that the conditional use permits, and you read it yourselves, always go with the land, except, now again, we exclude another group of people, except the collector cars. And it is straight out discrimination, and if you were honest with one another, if you were honest with the public at this moment in time, each of you would be able to recall the conversations that have swirled, stating that we will eventually get rid of all collector car collections simply by death.
Yep. Because
in this case, the conditional use permit does not go with the land. That is discrimination, plain and simple, against a specific group of people. It does not follow with everybody else in the county. And finally, I want to talk about the fact that we spent 20 minutes, a little bit over, listening to Mr. Wallace go through word by word by word a text amendment that will dummy down and get us to the point where we accept this thing as being normal. And we'll dummy down and have everyone coming out and getting a permit, and you have one person in this county who is doing code enforcement. I haven't seen the budget. Maybe they approved having two. You guys would know better than I would. But right now there's one person. That person's time will be 150% taken by just the folks in the county who have some collector cars. There will be no other work done in the county because he's not going to have time. So we can look for those neighbors who have some problems with chickens or refrigerator collections or appliance collections, trailer collections. All of those types of things have to, by nature, go by the wayside because you are so intent on making people in this county voluntarily apply for a permit that they don't need at or not at a cost. And this gentleman is going to have to go around the county, and up to twice a year he's allowed to go in and inspect your property and count cars to make sure that you haven't put another car on the property. It makes no sense what you're doing here. I ask that you completely eliminate this. Absolutely eliminate it. I would like to see you kill this and go back to what you had in 2010 and take it from there.
That's right.
Start again. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other person wishing to speak in favor of the agenda item?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I said. I think you
I guess I should have
misunderstood.
recognized you for later.
Yes, you should have.